For many years, there has always been a question about where the place of creation occurred. The Garden of Eden has been a biblical symbol for a long time and has held the faith of many believers. Just recently, it was with wonder and amazement that the gate to the sacred place was only just in the holy city of Jerusalem. Stay with us as we unfold the exact location and its significance to the Christian faith. The discovery of the garden's gate has brought hope with the testimony of God's power and dominion over all things. It is truly an astonishing find. The name Eden is widely believed to be derived from reading an Akkadian word borrowed from the Sumerian Eden. In English, it means fruitful, plain, or pleasure. It is also believed to mean the paradise of God on earth. The location of the garden is still being researched by many archaeologists and scientists. This is because there has been so much geographical change over the centuries that has affected knowing the precise location of the Lord's paradise on earth. However, it is certainly between Ethiopia and the Middle East. This conclusion was drawn because of the location of the rivers and where it is assumed to be the land of Cush. As far back, Christians, archaeologists, and historians have been deeply involved in the remains of its existence and have a conclusion on whether or not it is a myth. Now that the gate to the Garden of Eden has been discovered, that settles all claims, bringing out new contentions of what to do with the sacred ground. Until now, the garden was claimed to be extraterrestrial and could not be found with ordinary eyes or by ordinary men. It is said to have been the abode of gods and spirits, and as a myth has been believed for many years. The Christian's Bible denotes that the garden had a precise location, secluded from the other expanded land. It also explains the beginning of the existence of the garden, and when heaven and earth were close in distance, and the earth was just cleared from water to form land. There have been many discoveries about the garden, both by Christian believers and unbelievers. However, should it be kept sacred, or is it a simple discovery from the past that may or may not become idolized? There was also a debate on what comes next after the discovery. Should it be used for a faith hold for believers on pilgrims, or as a science artifact that could lead to more discoveries? The debate on whether to choose a side to science and rationality, or faith, hope, and belief is still ongoing. How did the Garden of Eden come about? The history of the Garden of Eden, as a biblical symbol, is said to have been ever before the creation of all things. Its purpose can be seen in the book of Genesis, where it serves as a paradise to be inhabited by God's creation, including the first man, Adam and Eve. In the Bible, the book of Genesis, chapter 2 verse 4b, chapter 3 verse 24, is also often called the Garden of God by many prophets in the Bible. It signifies the beginning of God's relationship with His creations. From the Bible, it can be seen that the garden's main purpose was to serve as a place to house the first man and other creations, such as trees and plants, animals, birds, and the likes. Genesis 1, it was a place of peace, harmony, and balance between all creations. There was a provision for all and unity and affection among all. The book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 10 through 14, it was stated that at the center of the garden was the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. These trees were major in the garden and different from other plants and vegetation because they had different purposes. The garden also had 4 major rivers: Pishon, Gihon, Tigris, and Euphrates rivers. From present-time research, it is revealed that the rivers flowed from the same source, the Garden of Eden. The Tigris and Euphrates rivers still flow through Iraq, biblically known as Assyria. Gihon and Pishon, on the other hand, are located in the Persian Gulf, Mesopotamia. The Garden of Eden was the first place where all creations settled in, before spreading out after departure. At first, there was only a single human in the garden. The first man, Adam, was alone and was given a helper molded from his ribs, Eve. Together, the first man and woman lived in paradise, making it a significant location as time passed. Adam and Eve, the first humans created, were placed in the garden to care for and nurture the land. They were given permission over everything and commanded to eat from the tree of life. However, the only exception for man was to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, which Adam and Eve eventually would go ahead to eat, falling into the temptation set up by the serpent. This can still be found in the book of Genesis. Eating from the forbidden fruit caused the first humans, Adam and Eve, to lose their relationship with God and earn disfavor. This is because both Adam and Eve had gained consciousness of themselves and were exposed to the ability to sin, leading to their spiritual death. After eating the forbidden fruit, they found out that they were unclothed and set up figs and leaves to cover themselves up and hide from God. They would later be clothed in animal skin and driven off the garden after being punished by God. According to the Christian Holy Book, the departure of Adam and Eve from the garden would be the last time any man would live in the garden. Genesis chapter 2 verse 24, "The gates of the Garden of Eden and the way to the tree of life was guarded by cherubim with a flaming sword, and kept Adam and Eve out of the garden." This, however, does not mean the end of the Garden of Eden in the Bible. There have been several other notable mentions of the Garden of Eden as mentioned in the Holy Bible. The most important references to this are Isaiah chapter 51 verse 3, Ezekiel chapter 36 verse 35, Revelation chapter 2 verse 7, Ezekiel chapter 28 verses 12 through 13, and many others. However, only some of these verses refer directly to the garden. Significance of the Garden of Eden. The Garden of Eden holds a lot of importance for Christians and even scientists interested in religion. This is because it has a lot of representation for Christian references and is the precise location for proof of man's creation. The Garden of Eden in Christian belief signifies that where everything that has life was created: man, plants, animals. Naturally, many are drawn to discover the site, whether for faith or other reasons. Another reason the Garden of Eden is relevant is that it states human progression from sinlessness to the knowledge of sin, punishment, and hardship. In the book of Genesis, the man was created without awareness of anything impure. He was unclothed and had no knowledge of good or evil. Living was simply for pleasure and perfection. This exact location also happens to witness man fall to temptation, self-discovery, and the knowledge of good and evil. The punishment for Adam and Eve also occurred in the garden until they were driven out into hardship and survival. After the creation of earth, the abode created for all creations was the Garden of Eden. It stated the beginning of life and witnessed its expansion all over the earth. It is a marked site for the start of all races and creation. For religious beliefs, many believers and Christians find it notable as it is where the presence of God dwelled and where God built a relationship with man. This belief makes their faith seem closer and is a testimony to God's existence. How was the gate to the Garden of Eden found, and where is the exact location? From the records of the Bible, the Garden of Eden is seen as not a mythical environment made for believers to crave paradise and heavenly pleasures. Neither was it to mock the Christian faith and the belief in good as the creator of all things. Like all accounts written in the Bible, the Garden of Eden had proof of its existence, and the timeline of its creation gives a detailed account of what it was. The Garden of Eden had a precise location recorded. However, it has not been found due to geographical and natural changes from the time of creation till centuries past. The major problem limiting finding the exact location of the Garden of Eden is that no one has been able to determine the exact locations of the rivers Gihon and Pishon. When this is determined, it will relieve an archaeologist's workload and aid in finding the precise location. Amazingly, recent evidence of this location has brought a different light to the study. This is due to the findings of Dr. Jody Magnus. The archaeologist gives a new theory to the research on the Garden of Eden. She stated that she believed that Adam was buried in a place known as Calvary or Golgotha. Golgotha is also believed to be the same place that Jesus was crucified, as found in Matthew chapter 27, verse 33, Mark chapter 15, verse 22, Luke chapter 23, verse 33, and John chapter 19, verse 17. From a traditional perspective, Dr. Jody Magnus believes that during Christ's crucifixion on the cross, his blood flowed through downward to where the body of Adam is believed to have been buried. In her theory, Adam most likely lived in Golgotha. He was buried in a cave underneath the crucifixion. According to Dr. Jody, there is a good argument that the Garden of Eden was located somewhere near Golgotha and located somewhere in Mesopotamia, but also has a special relevance to Jerusalem. There are many discoveries to be found in the Garden of Eden, and its relevance should be maintained. What's your opinion on this discovery? Are there more discoveries to be made in Jerusalem? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. If you like this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the updates on new videos.